panel have rejoined me, so I'll be reintroducing them to you in a moment. But here's something that I think you might quite enjoy. Rishi Sunak hasn't had a great week, has he? I mean, after all, he got into terrible trouble for making a bet with Piers Morgan. Everybody said he should resign because he was making terrible, terrible fun of all of those poor unfortunates coming across the channel in dinghies. Then he got into more trouble for making fun, supposedly, of the woman who was the mother of a young teenager who was killed in Prime Minister's Questions. Well, you would think that actually he might stay out of the limelight for a bit, but he hasn't, because here's Rishi Sunak in a new promotional video for the Tory party, which actually went out on his YouTube channel and then was made into a party political broadcast. Have a look.
Hi, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what's going on in the economy and the plan that we're working towards. But before then, I wanted to take you back to the context that we found ourselves in. We all remember COVID and the enormous impact it had on all of us. And because of that, we did a lot of things to get the country through COVID, like supporting the NHS, vaccine programme, furlough. Those things cost around £400 billion with all the other support we provided. And just as we were recovering from COVID, we saw a war when Russia invaded Ukraine. That meant that everyone's energy bills went up a lot. Ofgem estimated that they would go up from around £1,300 to £4,500 unless the government did something about it, which it did. It provided about £100 billion of support to everyone with their energy bills. But all of these things meant that we...
Now, this goes on for about 2.5 minutes, right? Now, I don't think I've seen... I actually took a photograph of the three of you as you were watching it, stunned. Literally, Tom's got his mouth open. You look as if you've just seen a ghost. Laura's got a hand over her face. I mean, it's so bad. You just go, what on earth were you thinking? And, of course, it became the laughingstock of the internet today because everyone said, well, it looks a bit like David Brent from The Office.
100%.
And it looks like something David Brent would do. Whatever you do not stand in front of a whiteboard because people will put stuff on it. Wes Streeting put on the NHS graph for waiting lists so that you could see how bad that was. And then somebody put the words "help me" on it, which was even funnier, right? Another wag said "I quit." And then there was one final one, which I don't think we've got, but it was something like, you know, I shouldn't have made that trans joke in Parliament. You know, but you just wonder who on earth is advising it.
This is Internet 101. Do you remember, like, a few years ago, a good few years ago now, when David Cameron just posed for some reason, like, on a video conference in front of a screen? So naturally, the internet got a hold of it and then it started putting a load of pictures of a certain farmyard animal on those particular screens. So this is so obvious. And to engage in this, especially because Rishi Sunak already has that vibe of being like the boss who wants to be your friend, but of course you're never going to be friends.
And it's like, hi, guys.
It's excruciating.
Don't eat a bacon sandwich when there's a camera around.
I mean,
don't stand next to a whiteboard. There's a few rules.
And also, he's dressed in sort of David Brent-style clothes as well, and he's doing this thing where he's coming across as a kind of sixth form head boy.
You know what?
This is my school project.
Not as confident
as that is. I find it refreshing that he's unapologetically cringy. Do you know what I mean?
No, sorry, not really.
I just, you know, the thing is, because I couldn't have the, like...
But how can he think it's a good idea? And who's
I
telling
admire the boldness. I admire it. Let's find something positive, Mike.
You know, he's got...
Amazing.
Who are his advisors and how much how much do they want to damage him? The thing is, all of his videos, even the really polished ones, have this Blue Peter-esque feel, don't they? I'm going to tell you about Bitcoin
like
today.
the one he did at Christmas.
I'm going to pretend it's this really sparkly digital coin. Actually, it's going to enslave you all. Or he did a COVID one where he took a boat over to a Scottish island and went into a sweet shop. You know, he does all these videos that are so cringy. But that is the worst one ever. My skin has just...
I mean, that one is actually worse to me than the one he did of the Home Alone parody at Christmas, which was really cringy.
That was... but at least it was polished. It was dreadful, but polished. I think that there's some kind of mole in his advisory team who's actually trying to destroy his reputation. There is no explanation for this, because everything he does in terms of his, you know, his little videos, his PR gets worse and worse.
Yes. I wonder if it's the same mole that was inflicting itself on Humza Useless, who this day was in Parliament in Scotland, and he referred to the Ipsos Mori poll as the Ipsos Porri mole. And I mean, that was his latest blunder. We've got one more, I think I'm told. What have we got now? Oh, this is David Brent and Rishi Sunak side by side. Looking
Can't tell them apart.
Very much like each other. It really is.
That actually makes me like Rishi Sunak more, because I'm a huge Office fan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want
That's
to be
quite
friends
endearing.
with David Brent.
I wouldn't want David Brent to be
run
Prime
the country,
Minister.
yeah,
running the
No,
country.
not Prime Minister, no.
No,
But
funnily
this
enough.
it's not his strong suit, Rishi Sunak, is he? Being a kind of front man. I guess
He's
they
a
were trying.
technocrat. But you know
they
what?
were
The
trying to
thing is,
present.
I
that,
have more faith in this unapologetically nerdy kind of thing that he's got going on than I do in Keir Starmer, because I actually just find Keir Starmer so disingenuous
Yes.
that everything he does is extremely off-putting. He reminds me of my accountant that I don't like because he makes me pay my taxes, but I trust him because he's keeping me out of prison.
Well, you shouldn't trust him.
I don't trust
You
Starmer,
should-
though.
you
I don't
should-
trust him.
I don't-
You shouldn't
This is the
trust
thing.
Sunak. Sorry, he just talked about that COVID package like it was a good thing, and he's
And it
not.
wasn't our money.
He's a clever man.
Yeah.
He knows that's why we've had the high inflation we've had since then. He knew
After
exactly
that,
what he was
I'm sorry
doing.
to say this because I want you to. We haven't got time to show the whole thing here, but when you get home, watch the whole thing because on the second page, when he turns it, he draws a little graph of inflation, and he goes. This time last year or something, it was up here at 11%, and now it's down here at 4%. It should be much smaller down here. He's literally drawing his own bar chart, and you're going, "Stop! Just stop it! Just stop! What are you doing?"
Neither him nor Starmer really have the common touch, do they?
No.
I mean, it's.
Well, Starmer put out
be
a tweet
honest-
today saying, "I fixed the Labour Party, and now I'm going to fix the country." And I thought, is that a threat? Because, you know,
it's a bit
he hasn't
mafia-esque,
really
yeah.
fixed the Labour Party.
Party.
The Labour Party is in terrible trouble. They've got hordes of constituencies where the Muslim vote is going to screw them completely because he won't ask for a ceasefire and they're not going to vote Labour anymore. Something like 50 to 60% of many Muslims have now said they won't vote Labour until they change their perspective on it. He's also got members of his own party in Parliament who want a ceasefire and who've, basically
from his shadow
resigned
cabinet,
from his shadow cabinet. I mean, it's a whole mess. Anyway,